And several others that had a fair amount of experience throughout the year, not necessarily in a starting role for the entire season. It helped us in the first game to have more experience in the offensive line, because that's, I think, the most difficult position to learn. And so that was where some of our experience was, and I think it showed up in the game against the Homies. Defensively, we had some difficulties, and that's where our inexperience is. Our defensive interior linemen and our linebackers are new as far as not having a lot of game experience. Now, how quickly they improve will determine, I think, whether our defense is going to be a real factor for us. But it's rather than having weaknesses right now, I think we have inexperience, and we need to learn from each game and move forward. So the experience on the offensive line will pay dividends early, but it won't have as much impact in mid-season. Well, lining up against Everett is always an emotional game. I think certainly now with Paul being there a second year, I mean, it's emotional in a different kind of way, because we still are very close friends, and we do many things the same, and there are a lot of similarities between the two teams, and I think we understand what each other is trying to do, which you try not to outsmart yourself, I guess, and try to guess what the other coach is going to do, but it's on your mind, you know, how they are going to use the offensive schemes and defensive things against us. And so the fact that it's a non-league game is really nice, because it's a high level of competition without anyone being a real loser. So it's going to be an exciting game. We know that each of us probably is going to have some little subtle trick up their sleeves that hopefully makes a difference, and I hope I've got one more trick than he does.
Well, once in a while he can be tricky, although his rock'em sock'em offense in the past has not been full of tricks, usually.
Not usually. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. However, they have been throwing the ball well the first game, and Terry mentioned it, why this game is probably not have the weight on it that it used to, in that these teams are both in a different division. A loss here will not hurt anyone in the standings. It'll just hurt their pride a little bit.
You bet. And a team like Cascade losing to Everett would be a terrible blow to their pride, because Cascade is a definite favorite going into the contest. Let's face it, they are favored. Okay, we've covered the teams. Kurt and I will shift positions now and move up to where we can look out on the field and see the opening kickoff and all the rest of the action. So stay with us. In just a moment, we'll have the opening kickoff on TCI's Game of the Week.
Get excitement, comedy, and romance this October on pay-per-view. Kurt Russell and Steven Seagal fly into action in the explosive hit, Executive Decision.
He loves you.
Fall in love with Uma Thurman and Janine Garofalo in The Truth About Cats and Dogs. And when Robert Redford and Michelle Pfeiffer get together, it's up close and personal.
You know what I want.
If you want great entertainment fast and easy, check out pay-per-view in October.
Well, we're all set for the opening kickoff. Cascade won the toss, deferred to Everett, which means that Everett is going to take the ball and get the first possession of the day. The officials are out there, all veterans in the area, and there they are, Dwayne Martina, Bob Dyke, Ross Noy, and Dan Galovic. Jeffries is going to be deep for the receiving team, Everett. He wears number 8. That's Gerard Jeffries. And he stands back there at the 5-yard line. The kicker is going to be Chris Smoke for Cascade. And here he comes, and he boots it down the middle. And it's going off to the side a little bit, taken at the 19-yard line by Nick Bogart. And Bogart makes a nice return, clear up across the 40-yard line. Brill Loizo also also there, and here goes Everett on the attack. Luiso made the tackle on the play. So great position to start the first drive for the Seagulls.
Well, that's got to be relief for Terry Ennis. Last week against Nahomish, the first play of the ball game, Nahomish returned the ball 94 yards. It may be why Terry decided to defer, get that out of the way, get some good kickoff coverage to begin with.
Nick Bogart is the Everett quarterback. Straight behind him is number 44. That's Andy Taylor. Wing T. And a handoff to Taylor. And Taylor, struggling at right tackle, carries people with him. Gets about 5, 6, 7 yards maybe. Up across midfield just barely. But a nice gain on the first running play with sheer power, Kurt.
Yeah, number 42, Corey Ackles, having to make the stop. He's one of the defensive backs known more for his interceptions last year than his hard hits. Who we saw right there, a good surge by the Everett High School starting line, which has 4 returning starters from last year.
Setting as a wing back to the left is number 8, Jeffries. Bogart calling the starting signal. Has it. Gives off to Ward, and the fullback powers his way for a first down, another 5 yards or so. So again, maybe Everett's taking advantage of the fact that Cascade is really not very big. The Cascade nose guard, by the way, is Adam Pacheco, only 160 pounds. Andy Taylor, the fullback, is carried, and he's not that big either at 5'9", 177. He is a senior and has some experience.
Nick Stowe, again, another defensive back, bringing down the ball carrier deep into the backfield. Billy Ward came up on a stunt that time, ran right by the ball carrier.
It's 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. And this time the handoff is to the halfback on the slant left, and not very much. Jeff Bunton, the defensive end, number 87, comes up to make the hit on the ball carrier, and that was Mike Moser, a 5'9", 172-pound junior.
Moser that time coming out of the tailback position. The last 2 plays that were successful for Everett were quick gives up front. Cascade is playing very tight to the line of scrimmage up front with their defensive backs and linebackers, and those quick hitters can sometimes squeeze through the holes. But with those longer developing plays, it gives Cascade a little longer time to spread it out.
No gain on the last play, so we have a 2nd and 10 with a wide out way to the right and split backs in the backfield. Bogart gives off to the right halfback on a straight dive play, and he carries for about 5 yards. Moser again with the stop made by Corey Ackles from his safety position. Ackles, as Kurt mentioned, known for a lot of interceptions last year. Having to come up and make those hits close to the line of scrimmage tonight.
Well, the reason is there's good push on the front 4 of, or the front 5 of Everett. Flamand, Junkweight, and Bricker are up front pushing the Cascade defensive lineman off the football.
And that center is Chris Bailey, who's a good one, junior at 226 pounds. Bogart again handing off to the right halfback, Moser, and he spins his way for a few yards, but he will not get the first down. Casey Lundvall, a junior for Cascade, makes the hit. It'll be 4th down, almost 3 yards to go. No score in the game. Time to play first quarter. 8 minutes and 49 seconds. It's been all Everett on a drive that's been all on the ground. And Everett has to call a timeout because they were having a little trouble getting in the decision on the play to call on 4th down. Looked like they might be guessing to go for it.
Well, they have got a good push going up front. They've had some success on those quick hitting plays, and they're going to question whether or not they should just go ahead and go for it here. They could punt it away and put Cascade into deep territory if they can get the ball out of bounds before it goes across the goal line. Right now, I think this early in the game, you've got to be thinking just get the ball back down there, get some good field position.
Incidentally, number 32, Ernie Brown, who's a big one, went into the game during this timeout. He's 5'8", 227 pounds, and does play fullback on offense. And who knows, maybe he's the guy that's going to get the carry.
Paul Lawrence out there for a long time. obviously not setting up some kind of new punt play. They're obviously going to go for it. Big chance this early in the ball game with 2-3 yards to go.
So Cascade, which has not had great success stopping these offensive drives, gears up for one more, and they're bringing almost everybody right close to the line of scrimmage, daring Everett to pass the ball maybe. Long count by Bogart, gives it off to Brown, and Ernie goes for the first down. Well, there's the big man. He's only 5'8", 227, and he had plenty of push, and he had help up front. There you see him, number 32. And the stop made by Casey Lundvall, a 185-pound linebacker.
Big push up front, led by Doug Junkwake, the returning starter at offensive tackle, 6'3", 281-pound senior. They're just relying on that offensive line. That's got to give them a lot of momentum going into this into Cascade territory.
It's at the 33-yard line, 1st and 10. Still no score, however. Wing to the left is Jeffries, and the handoff is the fullback, and this time Cascade is ready for him and holds him to about a yard gain. That was it was Billy Ward who made the stop on Ernie Brown.
Billy Ward, just shooting up from his linebacker position, has been playing very close to the line of scrimmage, and I've seen him a couple times just shoot the gap. That time it was the correct guess. He shot the gap and met Ernie Brown right in the hole.
Well, Adam Barton came in carrying a play. He replaced Nick Dyer. Now they come up with split backs in the back. Well, no, they've got a full house backfield now. The full back up front, almost a wishbone set. And the give is to the right halfback who skirts off a tackle, but then the secondary comes up and meets him. That was Jeffries on the carry, and he didn't get more than a couple of yards.
That time Cascade's defensive line was slanting to the left towards the strength, got into the backfield, tripped up Jeffries a little bit. Jeffries able to spin away, keep his legs going, and fought for a couple extra yards.
More changes in for the Everett Gulls on 3rd down and long, nearly 8 yards to go at the Cascade 32-yard line, almost the 31. We have 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go, first quarter. Split backs in the backfield. A quarterback keeper breaking into the open is Bogart. First time he's carried, he's got a first down inside the 20 with Joe Gaffney from the safety spot saving a possible touchdown or longer game.
Okay, we're going to see this on the replay. Bogart coming out to the left on an option play. Fakes the toss here. Butler goes for it. Leaves him wide open on the inside. Good blocking by the left tight end and tackle to come down to hold those guys on the inside for a 12-yard gain.
But another first down. Everett is relentless here. They're at the 19-yard line. Way wide to the right is Adam Barton, number 10. Split backs in the backfield, Jeffries and Moser. And here's the give to the first man, Jeffries, nowhere. Beautiful defensive play that time by a couple of Cascade Bruins, notably little Adam Pacheco, number 20, and J.J. Butler, who isn't very big either.
Pacheco playing that nose guard position. We remember last year was
Prieto.
Prieto was playing. They've got a couple of small guys, Pacheco and Prieto, but he's only 5'5", playing that nose guard position. I know as a big offensive lineman, you think he'd be licking your chops, but when they move him around like that, they've got him going either to the left or the right, and he's so quick it's hard to even get a shoulder on him. They just want him to get up into the backfield and cause some havoc.
Well, you saw Terry Ennis being very vocal with one of his assistants on the sideline. Here's the 2nd down and little more than 10 play. And again, the straight-ahead dive play to the right halfback, Moser. And again, not much yardage with Billy Ward filling the hole along with the other linebacker, Casey Lundvall.
Cascade is getting penetration on these last 2 plays at the line of scrimmage, which is causing the momentum to stop a little bit in that backfield. The Everett running backs not able to get through the line of scrimmage as they were in a few plays earlier.
Well, Everett has a 3rd and long, 3rd and 10 coming up at the 20, a little more than 10 actually. And they're getting into possible field goal range, if nothing else here. But let's see what happens on this 3rd down play. And here's Bogart, tries that option to the right and nowhere. great individual effort by Billy Ward to stop it.
Billy Ward came from the backside, his linebacker position, lined up in between the left tackle and left guard of Everett High School. One of those guys has got to come through and pick him off to cut off that backside chase. Billy Ward able to get through free and make that stop.
Number 14, Brokaw. Mark Brokaw, a 6'3", 170-pound junior, comes in for what looks to be a field goal try. And he would kick from the 30, which would make it a 40-yard field goal. The holder is Bogart, unless it's a fake, remember. Time, 3 minutes, 55 seconds to go. First quarter, no score. You get a good look at it. Good snap, placed. Kick is up, looks like it's to the left. And it is definitely way off to the left. No good. So Cascade gave a lot of ground, but held in the clutch and will take over on the 20-yard line.
That's the kind of play that kills you. Everett had a great drive. They took a big chance on a 4th and 3. They made it through, and all you want to get out of that is 3 points. If you can get some points on the board, you feel like you've accomplished something. Now the defense has to suck it up and keep this field position. Above all, Everett did get good field position, driving Cascade to have their first drive start at the 20.
And here's the handoff up the middle for not much at all. That was a quick hitter to the fullback, Billy Ward. And you might note that both fullbacks wear number 44 and both play both ways. Ward only got about a foot.
Well, I'd like to tell you who made that tackle, but there were 5 or 6 guys that were in there. One of them, K.J. Roth, was a defensive lineman who led the charge, but good surge defensively by Everett.
Here's a quick pitch to the outside, carrying the ball, J.J. Butler, and he struggles. Jeffries hits him and holds him for very little gain, if any.
The guy who really made that play was Darryl Flamond, who strung it out. He's playing the outside linebacker position. And one thing you tell those guys is don't get hooked. He took on the blocker with his left shoulder, kept his right arm free, forced that running back all the way to the outside where he had support. Jeffries comes up and makes the tackle.
Well, here come the Bruins up to the ball. Tim Grant is the wing back to the right. Now they've got a double wing formation. And well, here's a play that again goes nowhere. That was J.J. Butler in kind of a cross buck, and nothing happened except good defense by Everett.
Well, we're going to see number 6, Mosier, coming in from the backside again. This play takes a long time. There's Mosier coming in from the backside, and also number 85, Corey Gunnarsson, coming across the line of scrimmage. Play took too long. Everett able to get penetration and stop him.
Now Billy Ward is back to punt, and the receiver is going to be Jeffries. Great defensive stand by the Gulls. Well, that ball comes to him on a bounce, but he gets it away. Low end-over-end kick that's getting pretty good bounce distance. Crosses the 50 or maybe right at the 50.
Boy, Everett taking a chance there. Had 1 or 2 players standing around the ball. When that ball's bouncing around down there, short kick like that, you want to get those folks away. As soon as it hits one of the receiving team people, that ball is live. So you want to get those guys away. I'm sure they'll talk about that in the film. But a short kick, again, we talked about a little earlier, good field position. The kick only 30 yards. And good field position for Everett now as they start on the 50-yard line.
With 1 minute and 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. So let's see if the Gulls take advantage of it. Remember, on that first drive, well, they call a timeout here as something's amiss out on the field. Bogart went to the official and said, let's take a timeout. They did not pass the ball in that first drive, Kurt, which is kind of interesting.
Well, no need to. You know, Paul Lawrence talked about wanting to establish the running game. Basically, both these teams are running the same offense, the wing T. We were alerted to the passing game because Terry Ennis used it well last week, and I don't think we're going to see the ball in the air a whole lot tonight unless they have to.
Okay, well, as you see some changes being made, this Friday, you can catch live coverage of the Cascade at Mariner game on KRKO Radio, 1380 on the AM dial. Tom Lafferty, Bill Chrysler, and Charlie Poyer will be on hand to bring you the pregame show, 7:05 p.m., and the live play-by-play, that begins at 7:30. Remember, Cascade at Mariner this Friday on KRKO 1380. to have KRKO covering those games. And that'll be a good one. We're going to be covering Seaholm at Snohomish. All right, let's see what Everett does on this possession. Right at the 50-yard line. Split backs in the backfield with a wide out to the left. And the handoff to the right halfback. Moser is being held after a gain of not more than 3 yards, as the prime hitter was Billy Ward. Well, he's doing a heck of a job on defense, Kurt. We're calling his name a lot.
Well, Ward plays that inside linebacker position. What you want is your defensive lineman to take up as many blockers as they can so that guy can make those tackles. Casey Lundball also in on that play. And that, if those linemen are doing their job, those linebackers should be the ones making those tackles.
Second and a long 7. And in motion, but the give was right up the middle, and again, very short yardage. I don't know if there was a fumble in there or not, but could have been. They're marking the ball inside the 45 at the 43, so actually, if Everett held onto it, which the Gulls did, it was a 5-yard gain on the play. So it brings up third and that intermediate yardage. Here you go, Kurt.
Here's the replay. We're going to see it, just a dive right up the middle, a fake outside. The ball's going to come loose here. Number 85 is downfield. That's Gunnarsson. He sees it, jumps on it. Good hands.
You bet. All right, third down, and as I say, that intermediate distance, about 3 yards to go. And 15 seconds and counting. This could be the last play of the quarter. Double wing formation. Now they shift the tight end over to the right. That's Nick Dyer, number 82. In motion, Moser, and a terrific play by Billy Ward once again as he shot through on a dog and got the quarterback Bogart for a big loss on the sack. Brings up fourth down. Kurt, what happened?
Well, that time Billy Ward, again, as we've seen him, comes up close to the line of scrimmage and shoots the gap, and what should happen is there should be some rules for the Everett offensive lineman that if someone lines up in your gap, then that changes your responsibility. You come down on him. That didn't happen. Ward comes through for the sack.
So we have a no-score first quarter. Back in just a moment on the TCI Game of the Week.
The Navy was looking for a few good men.
Fire one!
Instead, they got these guys.
It's the crew from hell.
All hands on deck. Prepare to dive into laughter with pay-per-view.
What's our mission? Rescue Gilligan? This is ridiculous! Oh, it's a little tickle. Bachman! Yes, sir!
Kelsey Grammer.
God, I love this job!
Down Periscope. Wacky, crazy, and easy to order on pay-per-view.
Well, as play resumes to start the second quarter, Everett faces a punting setup with fourth down and a long 7 yards to go. Back to receive is J.J. Butler, a single safety, and the punter. You got to look, can't see his number right now. It's Moser. Okay. Nice punt, backing up Butler, takes it about the 10-yard line and skips his way through several tacklers and breaks into the open, and he can't outrun any. Oh, yes, he can. He might go the distance. They're after him, and they'll never catch him. What a run. Whew. I thought they had him trapped, but he'd never get away from the pursuit. 90 yards. He took it on the 10, did a lot of dancing, a lot of change of direction, and made all kinds of Everett players miss him. And just like that, Cascade, which did nothing on offense in its one opportunity in the first quarter, has a touchdown and leads 6-0, the extra point coming.
Well, Butler is a name that Cascade fans remember. Last year, Teray, J.J.'s older brother, played for Cascade, did a bunch of those types of things. Now to UW, and it's time for J.J. to take over. Burst of speed, excellent job of breaking tackles and then being able to pull away from the rushing defenders.
Chris Smoke, number 4, will kick. Boot is up a little bit to the left, but it is good. And Cascade takes a 7-0 lead.
We're going to see the replay here as we see J.J. Butler. It's a good punt. He has some time to take a side step, let number 22 run by him, and then it's just full speed right up the middle. The good punt returners just run right at those defensive lines. Look at him shake and bake a little bit there, makes a couple people miss. Now he's going to run through some tackles. There's one tackle. There's two that he ran through. One more here, a good stiff arm, and then it's off to the races.
Wow, that, I thought number 12 was going to get him, Pat Crane, but he just stiff-armed him, as you said. Great bit of running. And once he got a 1-yard lead, you know he was going to increase it the rest of the way. Okay, so Everett, which has had the ball most of the game, will get it once again, but trailing this time. Smoke will kick off. Deep is Moser. That's Mike Moser. Nope, it isn't either. It's number 8, Jeffries. He was a 5'10", 150-pound senior. Moser is 6, Jeffries is 8. Moser's back there in about the 15-yard line. Bogart is back at the same level on the left side of the field. This one's going down the middle. It's going to be taken by Jeffries at the 5-yard line. See what he can do. Comes up the middle, runs into heavy white-shirted opposition, and is down outside the 20-yard line. Nick Snow, the first man to hit him, number 21.
Nick Snow is one of the few sophomores on this Cascade team. Good size guy, 6'3", 190 pounds. He's a running back, plays some DB on defense, but right there showing his enthusiasm and youth as you get those young guys on those special teams, and they really hustle down there. Nick Snow doing a good job fighting through blocks.
Okay, here's the first down play at the 24-yard line. Bogart waiting for the snap. Man in motion. Gives it to the man in motion. Fumble. They're all after it. Looks like Cascade got it. And Kelly Olson falls on the ball, number 64. He's a defensive tackle, a junior, 190-pounder.
We're going to see this again. This is just a regular handoff. It shouldn't be no problem. Tries to get it out there to number 8. Jeffries, I'm sorry. Jeffries catches it in his chest. He's looking up. Kelly Olson was in the backfield. Jeffries probably trying to avoid him. Wasn't able to get a hand on the ball. Last week, Everett fumbled twice, and those both turnovers turned into TDs for the other team.
Line of scrimmage is the 16-yard line, so it's a short field drive for Cascade here. Pugmire giving it off to J.J. Butler, and they collapse around him and throw him for a loss. Gee, Everett's defense against Cascade's offensive efforts has been terrific so far. First man to him, Corey Gunnarsson, who played a lot of football for Everett as a sophomore last year and is starting out very well.
Everett, on both sides of the ball, their line play is exceptional. They're both, their offensive and defensive lines are coming off the football, offensively getting a push and defensively getting good penetration.
Grant is a wide out to the left. Pugmire waits on 2nd and almost 11. Back to pass. Lobs it toward the end zone. Man there just overshot him. Pretty good coverage too, Kurt. Ball had to be right there, and it was just a shade long.
Jeffries had good coverage. You'll see this as Pugmire steps back and is able to launch the ball. He's looking to just get it over the shoulder of the defender, Jeffries. Grant, however, is running, looking back at the quarterback rather than running for the corner of the end zone on a full sprint. He spent a lot of time turning back. If he had run to that corner, he may have been able to catch that ball.
Grant caught 2 touchdown passes from Pugmire last week in the win over Snohomish. Okay, you've got Gaffney as a split end to the left. Wing back to the right. Now they set up in a double wing. Butler's the wing back left. Here comes the handoff. Up the middle goes Billy Ward. He should score, and does. Just like that. What are we going to call that, Carl? 17 yards. A 17-yard touchdown by Billy Ward, who has had a great defensive night, now shows his offensive ability. The first running play that really did anything all night for Cascade.
Well, it opened up. You know, you pound on them in the inside as you get a good shot at the offensive line. They're certainly big enough to open a hole. They do that time for Ward. Gaffney downfield, the wide receiver, makes a great block allowing the Ward to get into the end zone.
Smoke for the extra point, trying to make it 2 for 2. which he does, and it's now a 14-0 Cascade lead, and how the tide changes suddenly.
Cascade, again, just pounding it up the middle, this time handing it off to Ward. You see the center and the left guard, they're blocking down a trap play, a big hole, and now downfield you'll see Gaffney, number 80, coming through the screen right there, lays a good block in order for Ward to get through to the end zone.
The early trap block was by Brent Bissell, tackle, or actually he plays left guard, where he's positioned tonight, has played tackle. And let's see, we've got still 10.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and Cascade starts to assert itself thanks to a turnover and a great punt run back. Smoke setting up for the kick, and Everett hasn't sent out his receiving team quite yet.
Tim Odell, the special teams coach and also a local judge, is out there getting them fired up.
And our former ace statistician for many years in these broadcasts. Okay, Smoke ready to boot. We've got 2 players back deep to receive. Those are the halfbacks, 6 Moser and 8 Jeffries. Low Booth is bouncing, goes to the end zone, and he will take a knee back there, and it'll come out to the 20-yard line. That's where the Gulls will start. For a change, they've got a long field to go.
Smart play by Jeffries. That ball just kind of coming as a squib kick on the ground. It's tough to pick those things up, and you've seen it many times before where you fumble around with it. Just let it go in the end zone and start your drive off on the 20. The one thing Everett has to do now is they've got to hold on to the football. As we've seen, they played pretty well. They had a good drive, weren't able to capitalize on the field goal, but then they got the ball back again and fumbled it. That happened last week. They're going to have to secure that ball away to find success.
Adam Barton is the split man to the near side. Wing T in the backfield, and a man in motion. Handoff up the middle. Goes Ernie Brown. Good hole. Up to the 30. Possible first down.
Again, just good blocking, one-on-one blocking up front by that Everett High School offensive line. We'll see them come off the line here and get stalemates in the middle. Right here, you look right in the middle of your screen. Good stalemates right in the middle. Now it's just up to the running back to find the hole. Big hole on the outside. And then Cascade looks like they're waiting a little bit in the backfield to make that tackle and not attacking. Maybe that will come with a game or two under their belt.
It was a 10-yard gain for the first down, so here they go again with that double wingback formation in motion. Moser, again the handoff to the fullback. This time he struggles for yardage and doesn't get in a whole lot. First man to him was Casey Lundfall, number 45, junior. Fullback on offense occasionally and a full-time linebacker.
Jared Jeffries down on the field. That's not good news for Everett. He's their big play guy.
Well, he evidently was trying to block downfield and something happened that went amiss.
You're talking about Brown. Brown is not a real tall guy, 5'8", built close to the ground, but he's 227 pounds. He is strong. He gets those legs moving and pounds his way in there. You just need to give a guy like that a little bit of a hole, and he can make a bigger one out of it.
Well, the clock shows 9 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the second quarter as we have this injury timeout. Jeffries appears to be okay, but they're making sure that he is. You can see him. Well, there's Coach Paul Lawrence.
Taking it out on that gum there, a little frustrated.
And certainly concerned about his player.
He and Roger Haug, the line coach, are talking up there, trying to figure out how they can keep that ball in the hands of Terry Ennis on the other side. You know, all these guys are concerned. These guys are out here for fun as they're carrying Jeffries off. And whenever you see a young high school athlete get hurt, especially Everett, they had those 2 injuries last week to Heckendorf, a starter, and Tracy, one of their starting offensive linemen. They certainly can't afford to have any more, much less just having one athlete hurt is too many. But Jeffries coming off the sideline.
Okay, here we go. The players off the field, and we have a 2nd and 8 at the 32-yard line. And here's Pugmire, Bogart to pass and throws it over the head of Moser, incomplete. The coverage was by Moser. I'll get that straightened out. There's 2 number 6s. Moser was the receiver, and we don't have a number 6.
Well, that's Trent Holloman.
Oh, I see. He's wearing 6 rather than 24. Sure thing. Wondered why I hadn't called his name. He had to be in there. And number 21 rather than Snow is Jose Prieto. We've gotten that squared away. They've changed some numbers on us. Well, that's typical, I'm afraid. We are not caught up with the ball yet. Okay, here's the 3rd down and 8 play coming. Running out of almost a wishbone formation. And here's the handoff. Carrying the ball is number 22, David Finney, and nowhere to go. In fact, lost several yards, and we'll have 4th and long.
And guess who? It's Ward again. As we can see the replay, Ward coming right through the middle. No one touches him. They've got to get that figured out. Everett High School does. Ward coming through on the dog into the backfield again for a loss.
And we have Moser to punt, J.J. Butler to return. Let's see what he does with this one. Moser got off a good punt last time. And another pretty good boot. Butler comes up on it, takes it at the 38 in his own territory, starts to go wide, hemmed in at the sideline, knocked out of bounds right at midfield. But still a pretty good return and gives Cascade great position to start this possession.
Butler, quick feet, gets that ball, starts running forward. That freezes the folks that are covering that punt. A good punt, 35 yards, but that 12-yard return was all Butler. He was able to run by 3 defenders before he got tackled.
Okay, here's Cascade coming up to the ball with 1 wide out to the right, and a handoff straight up the middle goes Ward. Ward looking for an area to go. He's trying to outrun a tackler and can't. Number 22, David Finney, who was in the offensive backfield a moment ago, had the speed to pick up Ward, stay with him, and finally tackle him right around the ankle.
Boy, Ward, again, just cutting up into the middle. The same play that he scored on, a trap play, a 35-yard run there. Ward able to get through that line of scrimmage. Doesn't have blazing speed. He's going to get you a bunch of yards, but he's not going to run away with it. And that time, finally, Finney, who was able to run him down from behind, caught up to save the touchdown.
Well, you know how Terry Ennis's fullbacks have piled up yardage over the years, no matter what their name is. They've always had good running backs there. Okay, here's a slant to the left that goes for a couple of yards. The ball carrier was Trent Holloman.
Matt Bricker comes up from his defensive lineman position to make that stop. That was going to be a sweep to the outside. Holloman trying to get around the corner, and Bricker just coming up and closing it off before he could get there.
8 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Second quarter, 14-0 Cascade. Cascade threatens at the 13-yard line with a 2nd and 8 coming. And the handoff to Ward. This time, not too much, as somebody grabbed him right around the ankles, and he dove forward for a yard or 2. The man who had him was Matt Bricker. Bricker, one of the biggest ones on the Everett Gull lineup at 250 pounds, number 54. So we have a 3rd and long 5 coming up. The ball at the 11-yard line. And, of course, Cascade already is in field goal range. And their kickers made a couple of extra points. We don't know what his range is. And on a slant to the left, nowhere. Great defensive effort again. Gunnarsson, first man to him. Taylor was there, and Moser also. So it brings up a 4th and long. The loss was for about a yard back to the 14-yard line, and Snow, Smoke is coming in to try not the extra point, but the field goal. And this one will be from just outside the 20-yard line. We'll call it a 31-yard boot. Well, it's off to the left. Did it get through? It did not. It went wide to the kicker's left. So the score remains the same, 14-0, with 6:45 to go, second period.
Well, Everett breathes a sigh of relief as Cascade had a pretty good drive going there. Everett booted the ball, a fairly decent return on the punt, but then a good drive by Cascade, getting it down within field goal range. Everett dodges the bullet. That kick was plenty long enough, just off to the left.
Lance Dawson, number 88, comes in as a wideout. He's about 6'2", 177 pounds. Full house backfield, quick count, quick pitch, and the defense takes over and knocks the ball carrier for a couple of yards loss. That was Mike Moser on the carry, number 6.
Jeff Button getting out there to make the stop. Mike Moser coming out on the sweep right, and I saw something there that happens every once in a while. He got a little bit ahead of his blockers. He had 3 guys pulling out in front of him, and sometimes it's tough with those running backs, especially fast ones, to have the patience to stay behind those blockers. Moser ran right by him, right into the defender's hand.
Now the big stubby fullback comes in, Ernie Brown, number 32. Split backs in the backfield. Brown is to the left. And the give is to the other ball carrier, Moser, and he doesn't get very far. Remember, Everett lost halfback Gerard Jeffridge to an injury. Billy Ward made the tackle once more. He's got a lot of calls tonight, offensively and defensively.
That time, Casey Lundvall, the 5'9", 85-pound linebacker, did a good job of taking on the guard, coming right at him with his inside shoulders, held him up, able to stand there, wait for Moser to get into the right into his arms and able to bring him down.
Brown is to the left, Moser to the right in the setup. And back to pass, quick one over the middle. Caught good for not a first down, however, as it was to Corey Gunnarsson, number 85, with Corey Ackles making the tackle.
This time Gunnarsson, just good concentration, really wanted that ball, was going to fight for it. You see there a quick play fake. Gunnarsson just coming across the middle, fighting Ward for that football, able to hang on as Ackles pulls him down. Good concentration.
But 4 yards short of a first down, and back to receive is J.J. Butler once again, and the punter is Moser. Kick is going to bounce. Good bounce for the kicking team, and Butler going to take a chance and pick it up, and he's by 2 tacklers, and the third man, helped by others, gets him at about his own 27-yard line.
Anybody else, you know, I'm thinking, get away from that football, but Butler picks it up and able to pick up a few yards. He's definitely got some talent. Pat Crane finally coming down, making the stop along with Joel Hyatt.
4 minutes and a half to go in the first half. Cascade with the ball, leading 14-0. 1 touchdown on a 90-yard punt return by Butler, and the other touchdown on a running play by Billy Ward for 17 yards. Okay, here's a handoff to J.J. Butler, trying to go to the outside. Gets there, but tacklers stay with him. He's got a gain of at least 10, maybe 11 or 12. And another first down. That'll stop the clock momentarily while they set the sticks. Get ready for the next play.
Mike Moser finally able to bring him down. That was J.J. Butler with the football out front, blocking for him. Eric Dinwiddie, the guard, pulling around the right side. Butler using his blocks well.
Gaffney is a split end to the left side. Here's a quick count. Handoff, carrying the ball as it's Trent Holloman. Holloman sidesteps his way up around tacklers. Now he's on a race with Andy Taylor, and Taylor gets him from behind. Terrific running in the open field by Trent Holloman.
We're going to see this on replay, and I want you to watch a couple of things. One is the patience and the ability of Holloman to pick his areas, and the second is the blocks downfield. Look at the tight end. Look at Gaffney down there blocking downfield. You have some more receivers down here giving Holloman some room to run. 51 yards, as you see. Again, Gaffney down there getting another block. Those make a difference. And when you got big play guys like Butler and Holloman, those wide receivers need to get those blocks because anything can happen on any given play.
And just looking at the distance again, it turns out to be 54 yards. So a heck of a big chunk any way you measure it. There was a momentary stoppage of the clock. Now it's moving again with 3:45 to play in the half. Plenty of time for Cascade because the ball is at the 7-yard line. First and goal. Handoff. Carrying the ball. Not too sure in the ball carrier there, but it was Billy Ward. I saw 1-4, and I wasn't sure about the other number. Ward carried. Didn't get a lot, but he got to the 5 or maybe just inside it for a couple of yards. Number 63 there is Eric Dinwiddie. And sometimes you don't give those offensive linemen much credit, right, Kurt?
Not enough.
Here goes Butler, trying to go to the outside. Boy, they had that one figured. All kinds of navy blue shirts rallying to the play there.
Well, you had a defense that was called to slant to the outside. Taylor out there and Finney as well to make the stop, but 3 or 4 other folks were following. The one thing you look at if you're a coach up here in the coach's box is I watched Pugmire as he rolled out away from that play. There was no one spying him, and maybe what you want to do is do a bootleg on the outside, run something similar and go the other way with it.
Well, that's his 3rd and goal at the 7. There you go. Pugmire on the roll. I was going to run. He should be able to score. Good fake. He held the ball on his hip, and a lot of people were faked on that play. Kurt.
Well, you know, and you got to figure that came from up here because on the play before, the handoff to the right-hand side, everyone went with him. Pugmire just kind of was running around out here. Nobody followed him, and you've got to take advantage of that. If they don't have the discipline to have someone stand on that quarterback, even if he's just running out a fake, you've got to take advantage of that. That time they did, brought him out. No one was spying on Pugmire. He was able to run it in.
Actually had the option to pass and probably had no more than 1 or 2 receivers out, but why pass when you can run it in? And the kick by Smoke is good for the 3rd extra point that he's made. And that's 21 to zip with 2 minutes, 21 seconds to play in the first half. Well, go ahead, Kurt, on the...
Well, we're going to see this play again. You'll see the fake to the right. You got Ward coming in, Butler going to the right, and then Pugmire, as you say, he's got Ward out here in the flat. And he's looking to throw it, but he thinks, why should I throw? There's all kinds of room here. And then finally, number 10, that's Adam Barton, comes up and tries to make a stop, but Pugmire was not going to be denied.
Well, Cascade had a very slow start. We had a 0-0 first quarter, didn't we? Yeah, not a point scored in the first period. But that long punt return really got the old heart pumping for Cascade. That's right. It was the first play of the second quarter on the long punt return, as Carl Nichols points out to me.
What you got to be Everett High School got to be careful of is now getting down. You know, you're in a situation where Cascade has basically dominated ever since the beginning of the second quarter, and Everett hasn't been able to really put forward anything, not get any points on the board. They had that one opportunity that they missed early in the ball game, and Everett has got to maintain. They've got to be able to stay excited and continue to compete.
And the ball is kicked and is taken by Finney on the 10-yard line. He tries to go wide. They evidently had a return set up that way, but it doesn't work. And he's down for just about a 2-yard return. Jake Allen, number 60 of Cascade, was there to make the tackle. Didn't it, Kurt, look to you like they must have had a left return on? But, boy, he had a long way to go to get to the left. Yeah. It didn't work.
Cascade was coming through. They leaked through the sieve there a couple different ways, and then as he reversed his field, that is Finney, there was nothing better on that side, as Cascade did a good job of staying in their lanes, coming down and not bunching all together. That's why you do that, so that you have the whole field covered on a coverage.
Finney is a junior who's been filling in for the injured Gerard Jeffries. Now Everett's got to get one more player in there, which they do, and that's number 86, Ryan Ziegler, a tight end.
Everett really misses Jeffries, as we said. You know, we see Holloman and Butler and those guys with the good speed and the breakaway speed that can make a big play, and Jeffries is really that guy for Everett. And with him out of there, it slows down your returns and also your big play possibility in offense.
Well, Okay, timeout is called here by Everett. We'll take a quick break here. Be right back with more action in just a moment.
Look at me.
Get Shorty, the comedy hit of the 90s. Playing on pay-per-view, John Travolta.
Sometimes you do your best work when you got a gun to your head.
Gene Hackman.
Major Hollywood player.
Renee Russo.
It's just my workout.
And Danny DeVito.
I'm intrigued.
Order Get Shorty on pay-per-view and you can get 3 free issues of Movie Line magazine and be entered for a chance to win a trip to L.A. or other great prizes.
I love it out here.
So order Shorty on pay-per-view.
Ready to go after the timeout. It's 1st and 10 Everett at its own 14-yard line. Bogart sends Moser in motion, gives off to the fullback up the middle, and nothing there. Right at the line of scrimmage, possibly a gain of a yard. All kinds of white shirts there.
Well, led by Ward, number 1. Ackles was up there.
That was Ernie Brown with the ball, by the way. And it's 2nd down. They give him no gain, right? Well, about a half yard. Okay. 2nd down and slightly less than 10 to go. And time becomes a factor now. 1 minute and 23 seconds and counting down. And a long way for Everett to go, trailing 21 to nothing. There's the handoff by Bogart, and the back runs right into a tackler at almost the moment he took the handoff. That was Ernie Brown once more. There you see him, number 32. And Brill Loizo was the man who made the tackle, number 9.
Kelly Olson also in there, the defensive tackle, got good penetration. Kelly had a good game last week against Snohomish. KRKO radio covered the game and was talking to them a little earlier, and they said they named him defensive player of the game, so he may be a guy to watch throughout this year as well.
There's been a timeout call, and I missed which team called it, but it must be Cascade. Everett's out of timeouts, Carl tells me. All right, 1 minute and 7 seconds to go. Everett's in a precarious position here because it's a lot of yards down to the other team's goal, and they have precious little time, and they're in dangerous territory in case they give it up.
See the Everett helmet right there, good looking. Eagle, seagull on there. You see some marks on the side of his helmet there. It's kind of, those are the marks of war. You know, as the year goes on, the guys with the most different colors and biggest gouges in the helmets are the guys that earn the most respect. So that's something you try and, you know, and you got to do it without hitting it on the wall on the way in after the game. You know, you got to try and earn those on the field.
You bet. All right, Bogart sets his team with 3rd down and 11 to go. And keeps the ball itself, I think. Yeah, it was Bogart, and he's down for another loss. The Cascade's defense really asserting itself. Clint Holloman came up from the secondary, made penetration, and made the hit.
Olsen in there again. Bogart was wishing he hadn't kept the ball, I'm sure, on that play. He had one guy to pitch to, and that was Moser on the outside, but didn't have enough time to get it out.
Cascade may have taken another timeout, I'm not too sure, but yeah, they have, because Everett is back there huddling with Tim Odell, I think, special teams coach, and J.J. Butler came in from the sideline anticipating the punt that will surely come. And let's see, 58 seconds to go, so theoretically the Bruins could have an opportunity to do something with it, should get excellent field position.
Well, as we've seen, the opportunities can present themselves even on just returning a punt, as Butler has brought one back real far already. Odell out there, I'm sure, talking to the Everett high school coverage team, telling them to stay in their lanes and to break down and not to miss any tackles, as Butler is a threat.
Moser's the punter. Good snap. Gets it away, but it's off the side of his foot, headed for the sideline and the bench, and it will be somewhere around the 30-yard line is my guess. They're running it down at the sideline as to where. Call it the 32. So Cascade has the short field again, but not a lot of time, 52 seconds.
Well, they used their timeouts to keep that much time on the clock. Now they're out of timeouts, or they may have one remaining, but Cascade certainly within field position due to that poor punt, only a 21-yard kick.
First and 10 at the Everett 32. Back to pass, Pugmire throws. Oh, right in his hands, and he's unhappy with himself for not catching it as Grant. Grant, normally a sure-handed receiver and one of the prime targets, had that one kind of looking it right into his hands, but then when it got there, he just didn't hang on.
Well, it looked like he pulled his eyes away for one moment. Everett High School's David Finney was right behind him, and he may have heard footsteps.
Gaffney comes wide left. Here's the handoff up the middle, and nowhere to go that time for Billy Ward. Well, he got a few yards, but not much time left, and he's got third down and long, and I think that Cascade has taken its final allowed timeout. Darrell Flamond made the stop on the play, number 63. He's the Everett captain tonight, by the way.
Terry Innes out there, you know, it's third down. They've got an opportunity here to get a first down, and that will stop the clock and get them enough time, I guess, to get up into a huddle. But if they don't get the first down, then they're going to have to bring their kicking team on without much time. And they practice on this. You bring your kicking team on very quickly, try to get the kickoff for the field goal within the 30 seconds or so they'll have left.
Well, of course, they could throw a quick incomplete pass to stop the clock, too, another alternative. But let's see what Innes plans. You've got to plan more than one play here ahead. You've got to look ahead because of that clock factor.
Well, I would imagine that, number one, they're going to set up some play where they can hopefully get a first down. If the first down isn't there, then they're going to either throw the ball out of bounds or down the football out of bounds. Secondly, if you get the first down, then you've got to get up to the line again and down the ball again. Just throw it into the ground, which is legal in high school football, to stop the clock, and that way you can have enough time to run maybe one or two plays before you have to try for the score.
Okay, here's the setup. Wideouts to either side. Grant and Gaffney. Back to pass, Pugmire, straight drop back, good pocket, and it's intercepted by Everett Finney. Here comes Finney back to the 15. They run him down as he gives ground back to about the 12. And that will stop the Cascade threat, obviously. Everett takes over with 29 seconds to go.
Well, this is the one thing you don't want to do, and that is turn the ball over. You can, if the play's not there, you got to throw the ball away. Get that incomplete. He tried to get it all, throwing it that time out to Gaffney. Finney is right there and able to use up a little bit more of the clock, but try and get it back into some sort of field goal or some sort of range where Everett can try and do something. You got an injured player on the field.
Right, a Cascade player is injured, and it's hard to see his number from here. That will hold up play for a little bit. And again, checking the time, 29 seconds of clock time remaining in the first half. And the line of scrimmage, by the way, when they resume, is going to be the Seagulls 12.
Please plan to be with us as the Everett High Seagulls take on the Jackson
Got 10 seconds
Timberwolves.
went off the clock. It was 39, now it's 29.
The annual Shrine Game here at the stadium.
Let's see.
For you Bruin fans, you'll be traveling to Frank
I think that's somebody with an 80 number.
Well, either that or it looks like it might be Ward.
Wow. It could be.
Big blow there for Cascade. Again, we talked about anytime someone gets hurt, it's a terrible thing, but Ward is out there being attended to. I believe it is Ward.
And in that very important fullback position, the way Terry Ennis sets up his offense.
Well, you know, these kinds of plays happen. You know, on an interception, all of a sudden those offensive guys have got to turn into defenders, and the defenders are all of a sudden turning or looking for someone to hit, and you're very likely to get blindsided a lot of times on those kinds of things where your focus is to start running after that ball carrier who just intercepted the ball. You don't see who's coming, and you get a good shot here or there. It looks like that's probably what happened over there to Mr. Ward. Everett having some time to figure out what they're going to be doing. Number one is they're going to not turn the ball over. They're deep in their own territory. They may just try and run a couple plays or maybe just kneel on the ball and get out of here and try and regroup at halftime.
Score, by the way, is 21-0. Cascade striking suddenly for its touchdowns on all reasonably long gainers. One of 90, one of 17, one of, what was it, 13 or 12? Well, anyway, long enough. Now, it was only 8 yards for Pugmire on his bootleg rollout and roll into the end zone. We're going to take a quick timeout here as the injury timeout is still in progress. So we'll be back shortly with the Everett Cascade game, our TCI game of the week.
Look at me.
Get Shorty, the comedy hit of the 90s. Playing on pay-per-view, John Travolta.
Sometimes you do your best work when you got a gun to your head.
Gene Hackman.
Major Hollywood player.
Renee Russo.
It's just my workout.
And Danny DeVito.
I'm intrigued.
Order Get Shorty on pay-per-view and you can get 3 free issues of Movie Line magazine and be entered for a chance to win a trip to L.A. or other great prizes.
I love it out here.
So order Get Shorty on pay-per-view.
Well, Everett has managed to run a play quickly as the injured player finally went off the field. Moser on the carry, and here's the replay of it.
Moser just over the left side, good blocking, just trying to hold onto that football with both hands, trying to make something happen but not risk losing that football.
And the clock shows 0, so there will not be another play run off. We've reached the halfway mark of the game, which has been a strong start for Everett, but no points on the board. And then sudden strikes by Cascade to lead 21-0. Okay, I'll be back with Kurt Marsh to cover what happened again on that first half of play, and we'll have statistics and more for you. Right now, let's take this break on TCI's Game of the Week.
Here's you. Here are the college football games you want to see that you can't get on TV where you live. Here's what you'd have to do to see them. You'd have to go here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and of course you'd still need tickets. Now here's a much better game plan. ESPN Game Plan. Lots of great college football games you can't normally see. Sent right to you. Subscribe through your cable operator. See Fridays USA Today for Saturday's game plan.
After a scoreless first quarter, the Cascade Bruins broke loose for 21 points in the second period, and that's our score at halftime. Kurt Marsh, who's working with me again this year, has the statistical end of the first half.
Well, statistically, it's going to sound like the score looks. Everett has 3 first downs. Cascade has only 3 first downs. However, you see the yardage. Everett with 43 rushing yards. Again, you remember back in the first quarter, their first drive was a 33-yard drive. So after that first drive, Everett has only managed 10 yards rushing in this first half. Cascade 104 yards rushing. But on here on the statistics, you don't see that 90-some-odd yard return by Butler in that first half for a score. So if you add that in, it's almost 200 yards of total offense if you count the special teams. So you're looking at 43 yards for Everett, no passing yards for either team, and 104 rushing yards for Cascade from the line of scrimmage, another 90 on return yards for a touchdown, 1 turnover apiece.
And Cascade did score as a result of that 1 turnover. They had a short field to go and turned it into a touchdown. All 3 extra points have been kicked, by the way, by Chris Smoke. All right, I'm going to run over the scoring summary the way it went very quickly. In the first quarter, of course, there wasn't any. There's that field. By the way, Kurt, field's in great shape tonight.
This is the best I've seen this field in all the times I've come here. And there's a lot of use on this field, so it's going to get worse throughout the season. But these guys have done a great job getting it ready for this year. And you can see the way Butler's cutting on it, it must feel good to run on as well.
Well, that's been the play of the game so far, and it happened on the first play of the second quarter when Moser punted for Everett and got off a great punt. Butler had to backpedal to his own 10-yard line, and that's when the fun started. It wound up 90 yards later. Smoke kicked the extra point to make it 7-0. So with a half minute played in the second half, the second quarter, why Cascade was ahead 7-zip. Then about 5 minutes later, Cascade scored again. That was after that turnover, a fumble. And Billy Ward scored on a 17-yard run. He'd been doing nicely in both offense and defense, but limped off, by the way, as we saw at the end of the first half. Anyway, Cascade led 14-0 after Billy Ward's run, and then they made it 21-0 with 2:21 to play in the half. As quarterback Rob Pugmire, who's not had a big game passing the ball, had a nice run of 8 yards on the bootleg and rolled into the end zone. Smoke kicked the extra point. All right, that's the way the scoring went. And really, Kurt, can you think of any other outstanding points of interest in the first period, or first two periods, actually?
Well, I think the turning point was when Everett wasn't able to capitalize on that great drive they had at the beginning of the ball game. They tried for the field goal, didn't get any points, and then punting the ball away when Cascade had that long return. It seemed like Everett's enthusiasm died down a little bit. It'll be up to Paul Lawrence now to get into halftime and to encourage these guys, let them know that 21-0 is not out of reach, and Everett can pull this out. The thing for Everett, however, is they're missing probably their big play guy, and that's Jared Jeffries, who was hurt earlier in the first half, and they're not going to have him back. And after losing Heckendorf last week and Tracy, their big guns are out, so Everett's going to have to try and pull together.
Okay, we'll take a short break here and be ready for the third quarter kickoff in just a moment on TCI's Game of the Week.
This is the satellite Telstar 402R. It is broadcasting music. Perfect digital CD quality sound. 30 channels in all, each with hundreds of selections. No announcers, commercial free, 24 hours a day. Call and ask for the music broadcast by satellite. DMX, Digital Music Express. Music from the stars.
You'll remember that Cascade won the opening toss, deferred to the second half, so they get their choice now, and they choose to receive. Brokaw will be kicking off for Everett, and back deep to receive is J.J. Butler in the central position for Cascade. So the Bruins, already leading 21-zip, will get the first offensive opportunity here in the third period.
Everett's defense going to get a test, and what they need to do is what they did in the first quarter against Cascade, and that is get penetration and be very tough on the line of scrimmage and stop that Cascade running attack.
That's Mario Anderson, who's running it back, and he gets across the 30-yard line, almost to the 35. So not bad position for Cascade. A little maneuvering room here. And let's see what they do. They lost Billy Ward, you remember, on an injury, so it'll be kind of interesting to see who fills that critical fullback position for them.
It's first down and 10 for the Bruins at their own 33-yard line.
See when they break the huddle. First and 10, right in midfield in relation to the sidelines. And it's Mike Crane, number 31, who's a senior. He's also a stubby one at 5'10", 192 pounds. Snell resets as a tight end on the right side. And here's a crossbuck handoff to Butler. Butler fights his way and breaks into the open again. And now he's at the sideline, 50, 45, and stays in bounds, fighting for extra yards to near the 40. Wow. Some effort, huh, Kurt?
Well, you look at a guy like Butler, and you're going to see this on the replay, where he has good blocking up front. He finds a hole. There's number 71 for Cascade. That's Brent Bissell leading the way, but Butler's the one that just keeps his legs driving. He not only has that breakaway speed, but he's got power in order to keep the guys and drag them along with him for 27 yards. That one was good for.
41-yard line, and here's the handoff, carrying the ball off the left tackles the carrier, gets to the 30, and that was Mike Crane on his first carry of the night. Let's see where they put it down. At the 36-yard line. So he's got 5 yards on the play, 2nd and 5. We're just underway in the third quarter, and Cascade's on a pretty good drive so far on 2 running plays.
Well, Everett has done a pretty good job of meeting them at the line of scrimmage. The runners for Cascade, it's just they've been able to bowl through and get through some passes.
This is Holloman on a drive to the left side, and he gets the first down at the 30-yard line. Well, they pull a lot of people in front of that ball carrier in a hurry.
They certainly do. Darryl Fleming finally bringing it down. You see the left guard pulling. You see the tight end and left tackle pulling as well. Good job blocking down by Bunting right there. You've got the lead back, or the right guard leading through the hole. Just grabbing his foot. The Everett tackler was able to bring Holloman down.
Well, it was not quite a first down. It's third down and less than a yard to go. Pugmire handing off to the fullback. Crane. Crane's got a big hole. Tries to skip away from a tackler, but the tackler stays with him. That's number 16, Nick Bogart, who plays both ways. He's the quarterback on offense. So Mike Crane getting to play because of the injury to Billy Ward. Does a nice job here, Kurt.
Again, just a quick buck right up the middle. Downfield, you see some linemen again. There's Gaffney downfield trying to block. A good job that time by Dinwiddie, also down the field, getting some open room for Crane. Crane getting some daylight there on his first look at playing some fullback tonight.
It's at the 18-yard line, first and 10 there. And there's a slant to the left by Trent Holloman. Tries to outflank the defenders, gets a pretty good little gain. Looks like about 5 yards, maybe more than that. As finally pushing him out of bounds was Nick Bogart. And they'll have to run it in where we'll get an idea how the gain was. Well, just about 5 yards.
That's why Cascade can hurt you. Last year, we remember, they had Jensen up the middle, and they had Teray Butler on the outside. This year, they've got Ward, and now it looks like Crane, and they've got that fullback play, that trap that hits up the middle, makes you want to compact your defense, and then they'll throw a Holloman or a Butler to the outside with that speed, and it spreads you out again. They always keep you guessing.
Now there's Crane on a drive over left, the right guard position, his own, and he gets to about the 10-yard line for very nearly a 4-yard advance. There still has not been a completed pass in this game, by the way, in case you're curious. Who needs it when the line play is dominating here for the running backs? Okay, here we go with a third down and 2. Pugmire hands off to Crane. Crane slips off one tackle, and he may have the first down. Didn't get a lot of yards, but may have it right at that forward stick. And yes, it's waved on as a first down. This will be at about the 9, almost the 8-yard line. So first and goal there with 8 minutes and 57 seconds to go. Third quarter, 21-0 Cascade, and the Bruins threatening once more.
Bruins doing a good job of not making any mistakes. They haven't stopped themselves this whole game. No penalties and no turnovers except for the one early in the ball game.
Here's the quick toss to the outside to Butler. Butler streaking toward the end zone, and he fumbles into the end zone, but he was down at the 1. They say the ground caused the fumble, so it's not a fumble.
Yeah, reaching out. You see here as he was reaching out to try and get the ball into the end zone. Just a reverse handoff toss over here to Butler. Good job out front blocking. Now he's going to reach and try and get into the end zone with the football. The ball will hit the ground and bounce out. The ball's down right there before the end zone.
Actually, it's inside the 1-yard line, so let's see what they do here. They have to give second man. Butler scoots through, got the touchdown. Well, they let J.J. put it in the end zone after he did great work coming down the field for them. That makes it a 27-0 ball game, Cascade, with Smoke, the junior, 6-footer, 155-pounder, trying the extra point.
You got to credit the offensive line: Dan Moore, Runkle, Allen, Bissell, and Dinwiddie. And, well, we'll include Snell in there as well. He blocks once in a while. But good job up front by the Cascade Bruins, dominating.
Pugmire, no, it's not Pugmire putting it down, but that's not that important on this play. That was number 86, the holder, Scott Kirkpatrick, and the kicker was the same, Smoke, and it makes it 28-0.
Good surge on the offensive line on this play. Just a power play over the right tackle. See that they've got tight end, running back, a flanker coming down. The guard pulls around. and nothing but room there for Butler to just squeeze in.
Well, I'll tell you, Chris Smoke has been a busy kid tonight. Lots of kicking off and lots of kicking extra points. He did miss a field goal. We won't hold that against him. He showed a lot of leg on the missed field goal, too, by the way. Okay, looks like Terry Ennis has got a pretty doggone good football team against Kurt, but their lack of size in some positions may be a worrisome factor down the pike.
Well, and also looking over here, we mentioned earlier in the booth here, talking about the size, not only the physical stature of the players on his team, not as big as they have been in the past, but it doesn't even look like his team is as big as it has been. Maybe he's not got as many sophomores on his team as he did the year before, but his squad looks a little smaller as well.
Smoke to kick off. Back to receive is Finney in the central position. This is to the right side, gets a bounce through the end zone, so it's an automatic touchback. No time off the clock. Ball comes to the 20, 1st and 10. Everett at that point. Everett's first possession of the second half as Cascade paid off with its possession, going from its own territory down the field from about the 33-yard line in to score. And all on running plays.
Well, kind of a personal game for Paul Lawrence, too. He probably is hating to be behind. He's very good friends with Terry Ennis, was an assistant coach for him for many years, and this is his second year at Everett, still trying to find a way to beat his old head coach.
Bogart with a handoff to the fullback up the middle. Nothing much there as they start from the 20-yard line and wind up just about at the 21. 20 or 21. Put it right back at the 20 for 0 gain, 2nd and 10.
Casey Lundball coming up and making the stop right in the middle there for Cascade, having a strong ball game tonight.
You might have seen number 88 going into the game. That's Lance Dawson, a play-carrying wide receiver. Corey Gunnarsson, the tight end, lines up on the left side. There's a wing back just beyond him. Back to pass. Bogart's got a man for a change. Moser, but a short gain, not more than 5 yards. Trent Holloman right there to make a good open field tackle.
Just a quick pass to the outside, a good percentage pass. Completion, what you want to do is try and get someone like Moser to get the ball out there in the flat, make someone miss, and then get the big yardage. But Holloman was right there. Good, solid tackle.
Well, he's got good bloodlines, too. Torrey and Terry Holloman before him at Cascade. Fine players. Here's the 3rd down and 5 play coming up at the 25-yard line. Again, Bogart to pass, floats one down the middle, great pass. Oh, boy, up to the 50-yard line, falling forward. It's Corey Gunnarsson, who, as we mentioned, had a good year last year as a sophomore. Looks even better this year.
Gunnarsson coming across the middle. We're going to see Gaffney here on the replay, who's playing the weak safety or the free safety back there. Instead of going for the tackle, he looks like he's going for the interception, trying to catch that ball. If he'd have hit Gunnarsson, he may have broke that play up, but he thought he was going to have a shot at it, and that allowed Gunnarsson to concentrate and pull that one in.
Well, finally, we've had some yardage on passing plays, by golly. 2 completions for Bogart. Here's a double reverse. Carrying the ball is Moser. Nice little gain. About 7-8 yards on the play. A double handoff. And the stop made by Brian Drexler. Also, we had a piece of it by J.J. Butler.
We're going to see a replay on this one. First, they hand it to Brown coming across, and then back on the inside. You see Keith Olson right there just about runs into Moser. He does run into him, but doesn't realize he has the football and not able to make the stop. Moser squeaks through for a few yards.
2nd and 7 on the play at the 43-yard line of Cascade. Moser a wide out to the right. Bogart not going to run the ball and makes a good decision. Gets a 1st down and more down to about the 33-yard line with Corey Axline the big down lineman trailing the play and making the stop.
We got pretty good protection on all three pass plays on the inside. Good job of shutting them down. It's just that the quarterback sees the outside and realizes he's got some room to run. Bogart takes it to the outside and switches the ball as he comes up. Looks like he has some experience running the football. Good game.
10-yard pickup. Kind of a tight formation for change this time. Wing back comes in motion. That's Moser. Handoff up the middle. Goes the fullback. Carrying the ball is Brown. Brown, look at that big guy drive for yards. Well, they finally get him in a kind of a standing up position and blow the whistle. He gained right about 4 yards.
That surge on the line of scrimmage by the Everett High School offensive line was more like the surge we saw in their first drive in the first half, able to control that line of scrimmage, get a good push, get their running back some room to run before he even ran into anyone, and that time Brown just pushed the pile even further.
New running back in the game is number 23, Jaron West for Everett. He lines up at left half in the split backs formation. There's a jump pass that was almost intercepted. Incomplete. It was meant for Corey Gunnarsson, but the ball was actually behind him.
Good protection. Bogart went down the line of scrimmage to his right, faked once, and then tried to throw again. Really didn't have any pressure. This probably hurried it a little bit, anticipating there might be someone coming. He held that ball pretty well. Good protection, as I said, up front.
Adam Barton in for Gunnarsson. Ernie Brown's also in the game. Third down, 6 yards to go. Ball just inside the Cascade 30. And here's a rollout left by Bogart. Wants to throw, floats it downfield. Tipped up into the air, no good. As it was Nick Dyer, the intended receiver, who's a big kid at 6'5", 220 pounds, a junior.
Bogart getting real close. They couldn't decide whether he wanted to run or throw. He's got a little bit of room as we see him coming out to the outside. Good protection again. Has a couple guys chasing. Wants to get it there to Dyer. Ackles comes over at the last second, tips it away. Dyer up there tall, trying to grab that ball. Not necessarily a bad throw. It was just one of those jump ball throws. Ackles making a good stop.
Right, the old alley-oop, huh? Okay, here's fourth down, and they're going for it. Why not? They're trailing 28-0. There's a double handoff, and they've got the running room. Moser has the first down, I believe. Yep, he does, down to the 22, maybe even the 21.
Big play there for Everett. Again, just that reverse, the inside handoff reverse. We're going to see it again. It's first handed to the fullback coming across, and then Moser coming back. Gets it on the inside. He's got a guard pulling there to block for him. Actually, that's Dyer, the tight end that comes from his tight end position. And he creamed a couple of Cascade guys and one of the officials. That's good. Takes his lumps as well. Boy, jumped right up, though, didn't he?
First and 10, Everett at the 21-yard line. Motion Finney. Handoff to Brown, and Brown is thrown for about a 1-yard loss. Might have got back to the line of scrimmage. And a little middle guard, Adam Pacheco, makes the stop.
5'5", 160 meets Brown, 5'8", 227 in the backfield. Pacheco able to hold on and bring him down. That time, Bogart was lucky to get the handoff away to Brown. Pacheco was in there so quickly, but Brown was able to secure that ball. But after that, it was just a fight to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Ernie leaves. We got Moser and West in there in the split back. West comes out now in motion and sets as a flanker. And they evidently are running short of time. They call a timeout. Everett does. Let's see. Time to play third quarter. 3:07. Cascade leads 28-0. And Cascade's had the ball once in this quarter. Long drive to score. Everett's trying to do the same thing. And a pretty good job of it up to here. But they have a 2nd and 10 coming up when the timeout is over. And that's Finney, number 22 now in at one of the running backs. You see 32 is Ernie Brown. And number 85 is Corey Gunnarsson. Okay, we'd like to call your attention once again to the fact that that excellent Cascade at Mariner matchup is going to be covered by KRKO Radio this coming Friday, 1380 on the AM dial. Your announcers are Tom Lafferty, Bill Kusler, and Charlie Poyer. They'll bring you the pregame show, 7:05, live play-by-play at 7:30. And Cascade at Mariner. Yep, this coming Friday on KRKO, 1380 on the AM dial. Back for live action here, or actually you're seeing it on tape, of course. 2nd and 10, straight drop back, now a rollout by Bogart, and he's going to be tripped up, and there was little number 21, Pacheco, who tripped him up, I beg your pardon, Prieto wearing number 21 tripped him up. And he's a kid that played part of the year last year as their middle guard. He's listed as a defensive end, but it's kind of a stand-up wide linebacker position, actually. But there was a loss on the play of very nearly 5 yards, so it's 3rd down and long coming up here.
Bogart looking downfield, trying to find Finney. Finney was covered very well by the defender for Cascade, just not able to get the ball off to him.
Critical play here because they're probably out of field goal range. And here's a rollout. Nope. Carrying the ball was Moser, I believe. No, it wasn't Moser. Let's see. Finney finally wound up with it, and nothing happened. Good for Everett. Loss on the play back to the 30-yard line, so it's 4th down and 19.
Penetration that time. Pacheco again, at that time joined by Casey Lumball, Kelly Olson, and a few others in the backfield, not giving Everett a chance, or actually giving Finney a chance to go anywhere.
Nick Dyer came back in the game, big, tall tight end, and they're going to go for it in some manner on 4th down and 19. Now they have to get to the 11-yard line to make their first down. Bogart, little pressure, and he's going to be dragged down from behind. Staying with it all the way was number 64, Kelly Olson. He's done a pretty good job tonight, Kurt.
Kelly Olson, a junior. He's 5'10", 190 pounds, and as we mentioned, had a strong game last week. One of those guys that can develop. He should grow a little bit more, but he's going to be one of those stalwarts up front for Cascade. Again, pretty good coverage in the backfield, and Bogart not able to get rid of the ball, and the pressure was able to get to him.
Pugmire still at quarterback. Gives off to his fullback, and there's Crane. Again, Crane taking advantage of the fact that he's getting to play, and he's piling up the yardage. Stopped by Darrell Flammonds. And we have very nearly a first down. I think he's going to be a yard short.
We're talking about some missed tackles. Cascade able to run out of some tackles by Everett. That time Flammond actually had Crane in the backfield. Crane was able to get away. Flammond chased him down from behind, said, wait a minute, I almost got you once, I'm going to get you another time, and brings him down, but only after a gain of over 9 yards.
2nd and 1 at the 41 plus. Back to pass Pugmire, and not a very accurate shot there. He had his man open, but overled him a little high and a little wide. It was J.J. Butler. And if Butler would have caught that, he had a full head of steam up. Nick Bogart was there defending against it. So it brings up 3rd and 1. It's good opportunity to take a shot at something downfield, Kurt.
Well, yeah, it's a quick pass. You have a quick, strong blocking up front, not much threat of a sack. But Pugmire coming out of there just tripped over his own foot just enough, coming out from behind the center where he had to catch his balance and throw that ball off of his back foot a little bit, and that caused it to be a little too high.
We got Butler and Holloman at the running back spot on 3rd and 1. And the handoff is to Holloman, I think, rather than Butler. Yep, it was. And he gets the first down with plenty to spare. Got nearly 10 yards on the play. Knocked down at the Cascade 49-yard line. So they'll keep it going from there with less than a half minute to go in the 3rd quarter.
Cascade's running backs line up so close to the line of scrimmage that it's very difficult for a defensive linebacker and lineman to read the backfield action. You've got to just play your spots, and that time they were able to squeeze through.
Here's the handoff to Holloman. Holloman slips tackle. He's got a first down and more to the 40 and just beyond the 40 in Everett territory. It stops the clock with 13 seconds to go in the third period. Well, Everett's tackling, to be honest with you, Kurt, has been a little bit sloppy during this drive.
Well, Andy Taylor was in the backfield, number 44 for Everett, and had a shot at Butler. Butler ran through his arms. Finally, Adam Barton, again, one of the defensive backs, has to come up and make the stop.
And Heckendorf came into the game, by the way, just now to replace Andy Taylor on defense. That was a momentary stoppage by the officials. Oh, I see. The clock started again and ran out. So that's the end of the third quarter of play. And as you see on our screen, the Cascade Bruins are off to another good ball game, leading 28-0. Back with the fourth period on PCI's Game of the Week in just a moment.
People who do something with their lives. They're hidden in small towns, thriving in big cities. Some have the most stuff, some have the least. They're born into sturdy houses and single-parent homes. Doers know no gender, and the only race that counts is the one that's being run. Doing something with your life, it's not about where you come from. It's about where you're headed.
The Navy encourages you to rise to the challenge.
Ready for the fourth quarter, and as play resumes, you've got Cascade with a 1st and 10. The ball just inside the Everett 40-yard line. Not quite to the 39. Well, we got a new quarterback? No. Still Pugmire, and he runs it himself and gets down to the 35-yard line. Jerron West makes the stop for the Gulls.
It looks like it's similar to an option play out of the wing. You come down, they actually send Butler from the opposite wing in motion, bring Pugmire down the line, and he has a choice to run it or flip it out to Butler coming around the outside. That time Pugmire chose to run, but I was watching Butler, and there was absolutely no one on the outside on Butler.
Split man to the right is Grant. Now moving into a double wing formation with Bunton, the opposite wing. And here's a pass out to him, and he's all alone with a lot of room to run. 30-foot 25, down inside the 20, I believe. Finney finally pulling Bunton down. But Bunton shifted out of the backfield to a wide wing spot or slot, and boy, he was all alone for that quick pass.
Well, there should be a linebacker making an adjustment to go out with him, but obviously the coaching staff saw this. No one there. They're rushing the outside linebacker, and now it's nothing but green until Finney's down there in the backfield, finally coming up, making a good stop, a 21-yard gain, however, by Bunton.
There's Butler on a slant to the right, slips tackles, he's going to score. He sure does. Wow, just like that, Cascade gets another touchdown from, how far were they away? 19 yards, Carl, or? That was on the 15, wasn't it? Right, after that first run by Pugmire. Okay.
Covered that 15 yards awful quick. Incredible run that time by Butler.
Well, Mr. Smoke, the junior, gets another chance for a point. At the moment, it's 34 for the Bruins. And now it's 35. So Smoke has done his job, and now he'll be kicking off. And Everett, thinned out by injuries and kind of incomplete with their drives, Kurt. They look good for a while, but when they get a little closer in, something happens to go awry.
Well, they had the one play where they had right down here in the third quarter where they were coming in front of us. It was 4th down. They had the big play to get inside the 20 or about the 21-yard line and start a drive there, and went nowhere but backwards. They lost their containment up front of the defensive line, and They haven't had a lot of mistakes as far as turning the ball over, those kinds of things, but they've broken down physically. And I think that's where we're seeing that Cascade just has a few more players. They've got a little bit more depth, and they've got a little bit more talent at each of the positions out here tonight. And they're just showing that they're just a little bit better football team this year.
David Finney is back as the central receiver. Bogart and Moser are to each side of him. Smoke's boot is high and down the middle. Nice one taken at the 10 by Finney. 15, 20. Oh, he's pushed back. There was Prieto, I think, that hit him, wasn't it, Carl? Yeah, Prieto really got him kind of when he was in the air and just carried him back and put him down.
That last drive by Cascade, Butler scored on it, but that was Butler's 56th yard on that scoring run. He has 9 carries for 56 yards. Butler has 3 touchdowns. On the other hand, Holloman, the other running back for Cascade, has 6 carries for 85 yards. So they're really been able to dominate, especially from the second quarter on. Dominate up front, give the offensive line a lot of credit, but those 2 players are some big play players.
Well, let's see if Everett can generate something here. They trail 35-0, but got to work on their offense. And there's a pretty good drive by Big Ernie Brown as the short and stocky kid gets up for about a 6-yard gain. Straight power.
Everett's offensive line has looked good on some drives where they've been able to get some.
Here comes Brown limping off. Doesn't look bad, but it's enough to get him out of the game right now. And look who's back in the game. Number 44, Andy Taylor. And he hasn't played that much tonight because Brown's been doing pretty well. Taylor's in there now. 6 is Moser. 22 is David Finney. Here's 2nd down and 4. Handoff up the middle. Carrying the ball is the fullback, Taylor, and I think he's got a first down. Looks like he reached the 35 when they uncover the pile. There he is, number 44, Andy Taylor, 177-pound senior.
Good push up front by the offensive line, interior line from Everett, and then just as Brown, the play before, and Taylor, both those running backs doing a good job of keeping their leg drive, fighting for every yard they can get.
Ball is right at the 35-yard line and midway between the sidelines. Wing to the right is Moser. Take to the fullback, Bogart to pass, long one down the field, can't run under it. He threw it too far for Moser, threw it out of bounds and way too far. Back to cover with Scott Kirkpatrick, number 86.
Well, Burley Lockhart there for Cascade, number 68, the big defensive lineman, was able to get in along, he's 6'3", 263 pounds, and get into the face of Bogart. Bogart that time not able to follow through on the pass, and that hung it up there. His hand had no follow through, wasn't able to finish that off.
2nd and 10, Everett at the Gulls 35. Bogart gives it off. Nice running by Finney. And let's see, no, it was West. 23 rather than 22. Jerron West.
Number 23, Jared West, the ball carrier, takes it over the right side, gets it out to the 47-yard line. Another first down.
Darrell Flamin, the guard, and Doug Junkway along over on that side. Corey Gunderson, all 3 of them doing a good job of blocking up front, opening that hole.
Well, it's still in Everett territory at the Gulls 47 with the 1st and 10. Wing back right is Moser. There's a rollout left, bootleg, trying to outrun the defender, thrown downfield way too far for everybody. Maybe he just decided he would throw it beyond everybody and avoid the full loss, but there is a flag on the play, so let's see what develops in the possible penalty.
Brady putting the pressure on the quarterback, Bogart.
Illegal player downfield on the offense. So the option is with Cascade here. We could just take the play and have it be an incompletion and have the down move up to second. So we'll see what they decide.
Well, on those rollouts where you got the offensive lineman pulling to try and protect that quarterback, and on that play, actually the number 63 Flamin, who was trying to get to the outside, ran into the fake block, and that way Cascade was able to put some more pressure on. But then you don't know if your quarterback's going to run or throw, so you get downfield to throw a block, and then before you know it, you're ineligible downfield.
Lance Dawson is a wide out to the right side. The rest of the team in tight. And the handoff to Moser, running left, runs into lots of white shirts. Back he goes after a short gain. The first man to him, Casey Lundvall. Also Corey Ackles.
Lundvall called his name quite a bit tonight. Young linebacker taking the place of Austin Matson from last year. Austin Matson now down with the Cougars, Washington State.
I think Torrey Holloman went over there too, didn't he?
I believe so. And then we know
Torrey Butler's with the Huskies. And he gets everything straightened out on his academic status, why he might be playing yet as a true freshman. Okay, here's good choice of running, but the gain is only about 5 yards by Bogart. Looks like everybody was covered, so he decided to pick up what he could on the ground. The tackle was made by Phil Brady, number 1 to him, number 40. And now Bogart's getting up a little shakily.
Well, fake. He's got the ball hidden by his hip. He's going to roll out, look for an open receiver, and we're looking as he's seeing, and he sees some running room as he comes through, but it closes down very quickly as Brady comes from the outside. That's what you got to be careful of. You know, it looks like you got lots of room because guys are covering receivers, but as soon as you put your head down to run, they pull off those receivers, and you've made your commitment. They're pulling Bogart out. He got hit a little harder than
Pat Crane is coming in. He's kind of short for a quarterback at 5'10", 164-pounder, and a junior. Pat Crane wearing number 12. So he gets his shot at playing as Bogart will get a chance to recuperate a little bit on the sidelines. We're in the fourth quarter, 7:45 to play, 35-0. Cascade out in front. Bailey over the ball at center. Right behind him is the new quarterback, Crane. And the ball is fumbled. The flag goes down. Yeah, that's a wait on this one. Burley Lockhart falls on the ball, but whether that's a fumble or something else, I'm not sure. Looks like it is a fumble. The offensive and defensive changes are being made.
Lockhart in the backfield. They tried that reverse. Boy, they're looking like they're moving quick there. Lockhart was able to grab the ball out of the hands of the second ball carrier and flip it up in the air and then able to fall on it. Jaron West losing the ball.
So once again, a turnover hurts Everett. Let's see what they call. An illegal motion call against the offense, which is obviously turned down by Cascade as they take over the ball. 1st and 10 at the Everett 44-yard line. Jason Langham now in at quarterback. Okay, 6'2", 165 pounds, and a junior. So reserve is getting a chance to play. Here is another Nick Poulin makes the ball carry on a slant to the right side, gains 3 or 4 yards on the play. That's P-O-U-L-A-N, Nick. Another junior at 5'9" and 160.
A lot of clean jerseys out there. We've got some new offensive linemen in there getting a chance to play. This is good early in the season. As we've seen, especially with Everett, there are some times when your players are injured, and the more experience these backups have, just the stronger your team is.
Ryan Ross is in at the tight end. And here's the handoff up the middle with the fullback. Let's see who that was. It was Mike Crane again, who stays in. He's number 31, and he didn't quite get the first down, but he's going to be close to it. It'll be 3rd and short, about 1.5 yards to go, and that clock moves inexorably on.
It'll be 3rd down 1 for the Bruins.
6.5 minutes to play in the game.
Inexorably, yeah.
Well,
that's a good one.
Slowly but surely.
There we go. Thanks.
Langham has a flag on the play. I think there was illegal motion, and there's going to be a touchdown, but it won't count. The ball carrier is Adam Stump. And he is kind of stumpy at the 5'7" and 145 pounds. A little squat kid, you bet. Ran like heck, too.
He's not going to be very happy with that person who was in the illegal motion as the primary indication shows that someone was moving. And that's to be expected. You've got all second-teamers in there. They're not in the flow of the game, and there's going to be a few mistakes, but Stump is not going to be happy about his moment of glory being taken away.
Well, maybe they'll give it to him again and see, hey, lightning might strike twice. Illegal motion it is. I thought I saw somebody move up here. And the officials saw what I saw for sure. Okay, it's going to be 3rd down, and instead of 1.5 yards to go, it's almost 7 yards to go. Remember, this is a number 2 quarterback in there. Oops, and everything goes for plunk on that one. For a loss on the play.
A little problem there with a quarterback and center exchange.
Number 17, Jason.
Well, they retained possession, but it's 4th down and long, and they're going to have to punt.
Recovers the fumble. It'll be 4th down.
It looks like Buckmeyer's back into punt, yeah.
Rob Buckmeyer.
And back to receive is David Finney, all by himself, standing between the 5 and the 10.
Deep for the Seagulls.
Finney's thinking to himself, if that ball goes over his head at the 5 or 10 yard line, to let it go into the end zone.
And it's going to be taken at the 8-yard line. Well, you've dodged one tackler. Now he's got a lot of room down the sidelines. One man to beat there, and they can't fully beat him. And then there's I don't know if that's a flag or a beanbag dropped at the end of the play. I guess it was just a beanbag.
Excellent tackle there by Buckmeyer, getting down there and wrapping up Finney on the play, bringing him down. Finney had one guy to beat. He could have been gone. Buckmeyer saves the day on that one.
And it's at the 32-yard line for the Gulls in their own territory. A 38-yard punt with a 26-yard return. The ball is big Chris Bailey at center, right behind him is the new quarterback, and the ball carrier comes to the right. That's Gerard West, number 23. Got only a yard as Nick Poulon makes the stop.
Number 23, Gerard West.
Just a little mix-up up front in the offensive line on that play. It didn't look like everyone had their assignments as 2 or 3 Cascade Bruins led by Poulon. It comes through and makes the stop.
2nd down 9 for the goal.
Second and 9. Crane gives off to the fullback, and Andy Taylor strikes through for another yard or 2, and that's about it.
Number 44.
Ryan Ross in to make the stop, number 81 up front.
That must be the same Ryan Ross who was a punting specialist a year ago.
Number 26.
And we're getting a chance to play both offense and defense now among the reserves. There's a quick pitch out to the side to West, and West tries to go north and south, but kind of runs east on this play and doesn't get very far. It's going to bring up 4th down. Bill Brady, number 40, made the tackle. There's not a lot of time remaining, really. 3 minutes and 45 seconds, and back to receive is, let's see, Moser back to punt, and to receive is Mario Anderson. Timeout taken by the Everett Seagulls. Evidently, they were not organized enough on their kicking team setup. So that stops the clock with 3:35 to go.
Well, you really got to be on your toes. Once you get into position in the ball game where you're starting to substitute folks, Everett's doing it as well, getting some of their younger guys in to give them some playing time, knowing that the game is probably out of reach. Cascade doing it as well. you've got to really work hard on the sidelines to make sure, because you don't have, there's Tim Odell out there coaching them up. You don't have the same guys on the field as you usually do, so when a special team is called forward, even though you're substituted for on the field, no one goes in for you on special teams, so those guys have to be ready to go, and obviously a little mix-up. Some folks have forgotten that they were still on the punt team and not able to get out there in time.
Moser to punt, Anderson to receive. Boot is away, high, not too deep. Coming up as Anderson takes it on the run, fumbles. He muffed it as he tried to take it in full flight, and it looks like Everett recovered. Sure enough, they do. Sign from the official says a seagull recovery. And that's one way to gain a lot of yards in a hurry.
David Finney down there recovering that ball. Also down there in the coverage, Adam Barton real close down there. And what you don't want to do is what Mario Anderson did is if that ball is questionable, you just go ahead and let it go. Call fair catch, let that ball go, and let Everett down it. Don't turn it over deep in your own territory.
Okay, well, here we go with Pat Crane handling the quarterback spot. And he wants to throw. Now he's going to run a little bit. Drag him down from behind. There's a flag on the play near the point of the tackle. And this is a face mask job.
Caught from behind, one of the Cascade linemen, I didn't see the number, reached out to try and grab the quarterback from behind, Crane, and actually grabbed a hold of his helmet, a little bit of piece of his face mask there. Dangerous. You can get hurt pretty easily doing that. That's why it's such a severe penalty, probably a 10-yarder here. 15, excuse me.
No, that brings it clear down to the 21-yard line. First and 10 Everett, and the first threatening opportunity for the Gulls in a long, long time, since really the first period. We've got Taylor and Moser as the setbacks. Crane does. And Pat back to pass, throws out in the flat, complete. The number 88, that's Lance Dawson, and he's got another first down inside the 10, possibly as far as the 8-yard line. Looks like that's it.
Dawson doing a good job of holding on to that football. He was covered on that play by Scott Kirkpatrick, but he beat him, Dawson did, and then Mario Anderson was right there to make the hit, a good hit. But able to hold on to the football.
Penalty against Everett for illegal motion again. That's a killer. They were gonna be down around the 5-yard line or something, and now they're clear back out at the 25.
And those are what you call mental mistakes. You know, a coach is never upset about a physical mistake where you make a mistake physically where you're going 100%, but those ones where you move a little too quick or you line up in the wrong place, those are mental mistakes, and coaches don't like those.
Horace Tiley is split to the right and want to throw into the flat. He throws behind Moser, incomplete. Well, let's stop the clock with 2:24 to go. This, of course, is in the fourth quarter. Moser's played a lot of football tonight. He's been a running back, a punter, a defensive back. Okay, you've got Lance Dawson as a wide out to the left. Wing back right is Moser. Taylor and West are the running backs. Fake to the fullback. There's a pass down the middle. Tipped away. Good defensive play by Mario Anderson. Well, he's trying to make up for that mistake he made on the muffed punt in full flight. Now that stops the clock with 2:20 to play.
Corey Gunnarsson just trying to split the seam down the middle. Mario Anderson coming from his safety position, able to get there just a second before the ball reached Gunnarsson. Good play.
Well, the question here is, can Everett avoid being blanked? They have 2 minutes and 20 seconds to do something about it. Right now, it's 3rd and 15 at the 25. Crane, pump fake, throws long downfield, got a man there. Looked like a touchdown to me. Sure is. Hey, nice catch. I think that's Is that number 80? Karis Tiley. Karis Tiley got it. Boy, he out-jumped his man right at the goal line. A 26-yard scoring pass from substitute quarterback Pat Crane to kind of alternate wideout Karis Tiley, who's 6 feet tall, only 146 pounds. And they're going to try the extra point. Smoke the kicker. No, beg your pardon, wrong team. Brokaw, number 14, is the kicker.
He's got used to smoking.
Oh, yeah, Smoke's been back there kicking a lot tonight, and the kick is up. It's a little bit to the left, and it is too far to the left. So it remains 35-6, but by golly, Everett got on the board.
See Pat Crane, the quarterback, in there. He's going to look downfield for Tiley. Actually, it's a pump fake. He'll look to his right, pump fake. Tiley stops for one moment, makes the defender bite, and then over the defender's head, Tiley, defender right there, number 86, bit on that fake. That's Scott Kirkpatrick, and then Mario Anderson not able to get over there in time. Tiley makes the touchdown.
Well, let's see. Cascade will get its hands on the ball unless Everett recovers an onside kick or some such. Well, just a little bit over 2 minutes to go in the game, so Cascade, if it chooses, can just run out the clock with typical Cascade line plays. Ready to kick off is Brokaw. A couple of receivers back at about the 10 for Cascade. That's Mario Anderson and Adam Stump, numbers 25 and 30, respectively. Okay, here's the kick. It's going towards Stump, who takes it on his 8-yard line. Tries to come up the middle, 20, 25, down short of the 30. In the arms of Andy Taylor for one.
21 yards to the 28-yard line.
Also down there on that stop covering was Darrell Clemens, who's one of the guards for Everett. Also on the kickoff team, staying out there for playing on the defense, or they're just bringing him out now. He looks pretty tired.
So a lot of reserves in for the Cascade Bruins as they try to maintain the 35-6 lead, or maybe add to it, but they'd be happy to run out the clock, I'm sure. There's a handoff to the right side. Well, I used to have, that's Nick Poulin carrying the ball, number 26. Got about 5 on the play.
Rod, as you mentioned, Heckendorf is back in the ball game, number 31. He had hurt his calf in the last ball game. They thought he was doubtful for tonight. He's a senior, 6'1", 187-pound running back and linebacker. And he's in the ball game, getting loosened up, getting ready for the league play next week.
Langham handing off to running back who goes nowhere. And that was Mike Crane, the fullback, number 31.
Remember that this, as Heckendorf comes off the field, and is replaced there by Liska Crow. Heckendorf is probably going to be back for next week. That's when Everett starts league play, as well as Cascade. Both these games they played previous, or this game and the game previous, don't count against them on their league record.
K.J. Roth was the primary tackler in that last play, and here's a wide play that's going to go to Stump. That little guy can run fast, and he gets a first down and a lot more yardage, clear across midfield, out of bounds at the Everett 45. Remember, Stump had a touchdown call back.
Well, we see both
speed.
Yeah, both guards pulling, getting out in front, Stump around to the outside. Showing some quickness here. It's just a race to the sideline. And Stump able to pick up 20 yards on this play before he's pushed out of bounds.
They're carrying the ball. A lot of leg drive is the fullback Crane, and he's stopped by Finney in the backfield, and the clock shows only 45 seconds to play.
A lot of coaching going to happen looking at these films here as you see the Cascade huddle with these young guys in here. They're going to spend a lot of time in the film room coaching techniques and trying to bring these guys along.
Bill Brady is now in the offensive backfield for the Bruins. And Brady gets the ball, and he's dropped for a loss as they really surround him, hold him in a standing up position. Nick Dyer, first man to him. And that might about do it. 8 seconds and counting, and there won't be another play unless somebody calls a timeout, which they should not. 2-1, it's over. So the crosstown rivalry ends as it has in recent years, typically with Cascade on top. This time by a score of 35-6. And game Everett team goes down for the umpteenth time, it seems like, to defeat against the Cascade Bruins. Okay, we'll be back with all the stats as kept by Carl Nichols. Bert Marshall will have some comments, I'm sure. And we'll recap how the game went for you after we take this break on TCI's Game of the Week.
Check out the new facilities at the Recreation Pavilion.